Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. That was President Trump energizing his base in Janesville, Wisconsin. The tide is turning. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. This was the week that changed the race. President Trump is on course for re-election just if he can maintain this momentum. A confluence of events has reshaped the campaign. A very similar series of events occurred mid-October 2016. Remember what started it?
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
That line won the night for Donald Trump. That combined with his response to the Access Hollywood tape. Remember, he invited all of Bill Clinton's alleged mistresses and sexual assault victims to the debate and held a press conference. He doubled down, and it paid off. Remember around this time, James O'Keefe releases a series of undercover videos showing Democrats admitting to committing voter fraud? The media suppressed it. WikiLeaks released emails showing that Hillary was a fraud. It revealed Hillary took a public and a private position on the same issue, and the media suppressed it. Obamacare premiums started spiking all across the country, especially in key battleground states like Arizona. And Clinton's State Department emails, yeah, they were found on Anthony Weiner's laptop, a sex offender. And the FBI sat on this for a month until they were forced to announce it. Again, the agency making bad decisions and interfering in political campaigns. And Trump outworked Hillary to the very end, doing rally after rally while Clinton coasted. He capitalized on these events, seized the moment, and he won. And 4 years later, here we are again. The same dynamic is happening. A confluence of events is redirecting the campaign in Trump's favor, and he's taking advantage of it. Number one, Trump recovered from the coronavirus and barreled back onto the campaign trail. Now, let's be honest. Trump got knocked out of commission for a week. He lost ground because he couldn't travel. But he stormed back and looks better than ever. And the crowds are huge. He's connecting, and he's doing what he does best, and the pandemic fear has been dampened. Number two, Pence crushed Harris in the VP debate. His performance steadied the ship while Trump was out of action and fired up the base. He put on such a beatdown that the debate commission at 7:30 the next morning dropped the bomb that the second presidential debate would be virtual. Now, they did that to take the wind out of Pence's sails and prop up Biden, because Biden got mauled face to face, and it's easier for Joe to cheat from his basement. And the moderator for that second debate, Steve Scully, he got caught colluding with the mooch, and then he lied he was hacked. And now he's suspended by C-SPAN. And Trump was right. The fix was in. Instead, Trump did a town hall with NBC and put on a very good performance, despite the bias. And when they try to rig it, they always get caught, don't they? And it backfires. And Trump steps up. Number three, Amy Coney Barrett sailed through the hearings. Nobody laid a glove on her. It was a flawless performance by her, Lindsey Graham, and so far, Mitch McConnell. Now, Barrett was so bright and smooth that now Americans want her confirmed by a wide margin. This reminds voters about the stakes in the election and the importance of the court. Trump picked a brilliant woman with perfect temperament. Now, on the other hand, Biden shot himself in the foot, refusing for weeks to say whether he'd pack the court.
Well, sir, don't the voters deserve to know
No,
where
they
he
don't.
stands?
I'm not going to play his game.
Now, when it came to a big decision, Joe Biden froze. That's not what leadership looks like. Number four, the Biden family got rocked by a major scandal, and the big tech companies suppressed it. This was a double whammy. Emails show Hunter Biden was selling access to his dad, and Biden was pushing policies for family profit. Joe Biden lied about not knowing what his son was up to. His son introduced him to a Burisma executive. Burisma lobbied the Obama-Biden White House to fire the prosecutor investigating them for corruption, and Biden fired the prosecutor.
I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, or we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting $1 billion. I said, you're not getting $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, what, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired.
Emails also show Chinese money may have been going to Joe Biden himself. But Facebook and Twitter censored the story. Twitter actually locked the accounts of the White House press secretary, the Trump campaign, and the New York Post, the paper founded by Alexander Hamilton. Corrupt partisan monopolies donating millions to the Democrat nominee are now shutting down criticism of him. But it's backfiring and making the story bigger. And Donald Trump's dialed in on it.
And the Biden family is a criminal enterprise, and you know it, and so do I. In fact, they sort of make crooked Hillary Clinton look like amateur hour.
It's turning into a repeat of 2016. Trump's running against a rigged system that's protecting corrupt politicians. Trump's the underdog all over again. Powerful interests aligned against him, but he's fighting on the side of the people. And when you have the people on your side, you're unbeatable. We're on the verge of another comeback that's going to shake the world. Now let's break down those Hunter Biden emails and what they mean for the big guy, Joe Biden. The emails obtained by the New York Post and Fox News reveal Joe Biden knew something despite multiple denials from the former VP that he never spoke to his son about his business dealings. It actually seems like Hunter helped him out. A 2015 email from an executive at Burisma to Hunter reads, "Dear Hunter, thank you for inviting me to D.C. and giving an opportunity to meet your father and spend some time together." But they didn't just want a meeting. They wanted Biden's father to get the company out of legal trouble, which is outlined in this email to Hunter from Blue Star Strategies, consulting company working with Burisma. The scope of work should also include organization of a visit of a number of widely recognized and influential current and or former U.S. policymakers to Ukraine in November, aiming to conduct meetings with and bring positive signal, message, and support to Burisma. The goal, the executive explained, was to, quote, to close down any cases/pursuits against the head of Burisma in Ukraine. And a few months later, after that alleged meeting, Joe Biden flew to Ukraine and got the prosecutor fired. But this text message from Hunter to his daughter Naomi in January of 2019 might explain who's getting a cut. Hunter writes, "I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary." Pop. Fox News has obtained another email from May 13th, 2017. It lays out remuneration packages for 6 people in a business deal with a Chinese energy company connected to the communists. There's a reference to the compensation Hunter Biden was purportedly seeking from this deal. At one point, there's a reference to 10 held by H for the, quote, big guy. Sources tell Fox the big guy is Joe Biden, noting this was after he left office. And when Joe was finally asked on Friday night about the story, here's how he responded.
I know you'd ask it. I have no response. It's another smear campaign. It's right up your alley. They're the questions you always ask.
Joining me now to break everything down is Miranda Devine. She, along with her newspaper, the New York Post, broke this huge story. All right, Miranda, you heard the vice president give an excuse, not even an excuse. He just said it was a smear job and lambasted the reporter who asked him. They have not denied the authenticity of these emails. They have not said that this computer was hacked. What have you heard from the campaign to explain all this, and what's the big headline in your personal opinion?
Hi, Jesse. Look, what is really quite extraordinary about this is that, you know, we've had 4 days and there's been nothing from Joe Biden or Hunter Biden or his campaign. And as you heard last night, all Joe Biden could say when a reporter from CBS finally asked him about it was to turn on him and lash him and say it's a smear campaign, and then be personal and say it's what I would expect from you, which is pretty outrageous. But that's it. That there's, I think it's very telling that nobody from the Biden campaign or from the Biden family has denied that this is Hunter Biden's laptop, or has denied that these are genuine emails, documents, photographs. I mean, we know that they're genuine. We stand by our reporting. But, the smear campaign that's going on is really by Biden apologists in the media who are trying to somehow say this is some sort of a Russian disinformation campaign, which is just ridiculous. This is Hunter Biden's laptop, and on that laptop is evidence that shows that the Biden family has been engaging in a cash for influence scheme with dodgy companies overseas, using Joe Biden's name to make themselves a lot of money. And what we also know from the emails is that Joe Biden has been aware of it and has also participated in his family's scheme. So there needs to be an answer from Joe Biden, and he can't just ignore it.
It's indefensible, and that's why they're not actually trying to defend it. They're just saying Russia, 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 or they're censoring the entire story. I mean, your newspaper has been shut down on social media. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. And now, where are we, 3 days in? And the New York Post is still censored on social media. So you've seen the communications, I imagine. And from what you're explaining is this, and it hasn't been completely nailed down, but this is basically what we're thinking, that the Biden family, in particular Hunter, and I guess Joe's brother, have been engaged in this kind of pay to play, this kind of access where, you're a Biden and you get cushy gigs, or you get money sent to do introductions or open doors or steer contracts, whatever. And then somehow money is shaved off the top, maybe 1% or 2%, we don't know. And then that's being held for Joe Biden. At some point, it's given to Joe, or it's being distributed throughout the family to take care of everybody. Is that the understanding you're getting?
We don't know specifically, but we just have, you have evidence and you piece together. So what you're talking about is an email that in which Hunter Biden is sort of dividing up the equity or the shares in a new Chinese venture, a very lucrative one. And it's divided up 20% here, 20% there, between 6 people. And so Hunter Biden gets 20%, and then there's a line in this document that says, and Hunter is also holding 10% for, for Joe.
Yeah, that's a lot of, 10% when they're talking about millions of dollars is, that's not peanuts. All right, Miranda, thank you for exploring the story. Thank you for coming on Water's World, and hopefully you guys get the censors off your back at the New York Post.
We've got lots more. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Jesse.
I know, and we will be following it. All right, big tech now under fire for censoring that Hunter Biden story. Let's bring in Senator Tom Cotton. All right, Senator, tell us what you guys are going to do. You've had hearings with these big tech executives in the past. Nothing changes. What's going to be different this time?
Well, Jesse, I think most Republicans and conservatives have always thought that these big tech companies try to suppress their voices, but last week they declared an open war on conservatives and Republicans across the country. So we're going to be voting on Tuesday in the Senate Judiciary Committee to subpoena them and have a hearing on Friday. There's at least a couple things that are on offering. One is to repeal Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. That gives these companies complete immunity from liability. So no one can sue them, even if they post libelous statements against them. These tech companies will fight to the death to post libel, to defend libels posted on them about teenage girls or falsely accusing restaurants or small businesses of discrimination. Yet they will censor one of the oldest and most widely circulated newspapers in the country simply because they post a story that reflects negatively on their candidate, Joe Biden. That's going to stop. Second, The Department of Justice, the Federal Trade Commission, state attorneys generals have been looking into potential antitrust violations, which could have remedies up to and including breaking up these companies. So for all of these big tech oligarchs, our message is clear. Winter is coming.
They made the biggest mistakes of their lives by doing what they did to this New York Post story. They've loaded up the Joe Biden campaign with former executives at Facebook and Google and Twitter. And now look what they're doing to save this guy who they've funneled millions of dollars to. They're protecting him because he's weak and he'll let them run wild. And this is going to blow back so hard. Americans are angry. I'm glad you're looking into this, Senator. We got to run, and we'll